As the wind erodes and the water corrodes, altering everything we think we know, but we don't. It's all temporary, and it used to, but now the thought doesn't scare me or keep my feet from following one after another until I slumber. Then my mind, not my feet, wander and dream of people and places I'll never see again. I've mended as much mental anguish as I can, and now I try to use this language to take these thoughts from my head to my pen. Cause though I don't speak of my dead friends or the circumstances, often the blow never softens or yields. I'm in a desolate field, lonesome stargazing, night blazing, chasing traces of remembrance and reverence of relevant friends and acquaintances, and faceless and nameless names and faces. And while my mind is racing through these photo albums and quotations, all these people and places far from me, for only land and stars I see when I'm outside of the Mile High City, which is not my city, for I was born 1,000 miles northeast of there, in the land of beer and lakes and pistol fire on MLK's birthday, where there is no minorities and segregation's mandatory. But that's a whole nother story altogether, and no matter the weather or hardships that any place brings, I'll still laugh when people shiver and say it's freezing, or say, hey, no wait, I already had 18 mixed drinks, but I guess it's a Midwest thing, and I'm a mess from a dirty city and brought most of this filth I've gathered with me.
Here we are, episode 46 of Experience Andy Weins' Life, and today we're going to take a dive into the world of a carpenter. We are going to talk about how to remodel your life. Yes, we are living in this world, in this vessel, this place, this human body that we are, and we're always in need of repair. So let's talk today about how we're going to remodel the vessel that is us. Coming up after the verse.
My work labors honest lovers, sleep in each other's arms, remaining calm and collect. I begin my self-reflection process of redemption. Honestly, I don't know where this road leads, or if I'm even going. Could be rowing upstream, or worse, chasing my dreams to the peak, to finally be somebody doing something with what I have, rather than saying again and again that I can't and I won't anymore from this day forward. Cause Lord knows the past is set in stone, the present is yours to mold and to use for future uses. I know I'm a nuisance, I'm told, cause I'm neither young nor old, nor giant nor gnome. I don't sleep on these streets usually, though I've made thrones of my own. I don't sit well with idle hands, though don't know what to do when I'm home all alone. I'm a menace thrown from society, and as it lies to me, I'll smile silently as others do as they please. I am watching and listening, and I'm grinning all the while, cause sometimes all you can really do is smile. So as the work labors on, I'll keep on singing my songs, and this day's never done. We just keep on spinning around that sun, and well, through all these miles and trials, all I've learned to do is smile. Is to smile.
Welcome to another episode of Experience Andy Weins Live. This is our opportunity to come together each week and dedicate some time working on ourselves. I come in here and I work on myself by planning out what we're going to talk about and really calculating what matters to me most. And you guys take your time listening to what I have to say, and to some of my listeners that reach out to me regularly to dig deeper, ask insightful questions. I'm thankful for that, because it shows that we are putting work into ourselves. 15, 20 minutes a day, 15, 20 minutes a week is the work we're putting in, and it's worthy work. Because as we know, work is my favorite four-letter word. Gratitude is something I've been learning to practice lately, and I like to start the show with gratitude. Gratitude is extremely important for me. The more I intentionally seek out to be grateful, the more I see the things to be grateful in this world. It's no different than the red car analogy. And this week, I want to be grateful for all my volleyball people. last week found out that a volleyball place I've been playing for the last 15 years on and off, really the last 4 years, every single week since COVID hit. Libby, Montana's up in Mequon is closing. Um, and I got a lot of friends that just reached out to me the last week, like, hey, remember we played this? And hey, we're going to have one last night. So tomorrow night, we're having one last big volleyball extravaganza. And I appreciate that. I also have my beach friends. Last weekend, I did a bonfire at Mike Jones's house, and my buddy Mike Jones has a bonfire once a year. And it's for us a chance to sit around, chew the fat, sit around, hang out, have a good time. No volleyball, nothing, only friendship. And what I realized from that night, Saturday night, and all the gratitude and love I felt from people throughout the week was I have people that love me and accept me for who I am based around a simple sport we play. When I hang out with my volleyball friends, they're the type of friends, a lot like my military friends. It's like we shit on each other. It's like we yell because we love each other kind of thing, and we sit there for 2 hours, 3 hours around bonfire, just talking shit to each other, bringing up old stories, figure out who we can, take the most shots at. And at the end of it, everyone's giving each other hugs. And it's, I love you. I love you. It's not, I like you. Hey, it's good to have you around. No, there's a genuine love and appreciation. And most of these people aren't people that we grew up with, people I didn't really associate with. We just happen to fucking hit a ball around a net every once in a while. And now we have this love and appreciation. And I've struggled all my life maintaining friendships. I have a handful or two real friends and tons of acquaintances. And so to have these people are somewhere in between, some of these people that I know I can lean on and they'll be there for me and I'll be there for them. All around a simple sport. I'm truly grateful for that. I felt so full of love Saturday night. Seeing people that I see regularly in a different kind of setting and seeing some people I haven't seen in years, or I see them once or twice a year, and knowing we can pick up right where we left off. So I'm grateful for that. Order of business this week. My book's been taken off. I've seen we've had some increased book sales. So for those of you that have already purchased your copy of Words Fucking Matter, awesome. I want to hear from you. Tell me, shoot me an email, text. I want to know what matters to you. What resonates with you? What have you changed in your life because of words you read that I wrote down at one point? I want to know. And for the people that haven't bought a book, buy a book. And for the people that have bought a book and thought so highly of it, tell other people to buy the book. I love spreading the message, and I love getting the feedback more than anything, because that feedback is what's supporting me as I'm developing my workshops and my keynote speeches. It's understanding what resonates with others and really helping me develop my thought leadership. It's supporting me in my goals and dreams in this world. So I want to hear from you on that. All right, so let's get to the business on hand. Today, we're getting into how to remodel your life. So let's tell a little backstory. I am a son of a remodeler. My father is a carpenter. He's a construction worker and construction superintendent by trade. Went to college for that. Worked for a number of years. My father, grandfather, great-grandfather, brothers, we are all of the unemployable. We are all individual self-starters. We work really hard to not have jobs. And I was very fortunate this weekend, yesterday, to spend the better part of the day with my little brother, Tyler, and my dad as we are redoing a chicken coop. We're turning this old chicken coop, a building on my property, into a loungy hangout, listen to vinyl, play Nintendo, nostalgic kind of analog space that my brothers and I know will enjoy. My 10-year-old daughter will soon enjoy. Kind of a hangout spot. And so we had to start with what we were working with. So it's an old chicken coop. So there was a bunch of stuff in there that was left from the previous owners that had been sitting there for the last 2 years I've owned it, and probably the last 20 years they owned it. So we had to clear that out. And then we had to rip down whatever was attached and affixed to the walls, right? Rip that down. And then, clean it out. Clean out all the, the dust and debris and the saw or the straw and the chicken shit and, remnants of dead rodents and wasps and beehives and everything else, right? Clean it out. And then we have this building, right? And this building that it's in rough shape. And so the first thing that we did a couple of years ago, before we even did this, is we fixed the roof, right? And I talked to my dad after yesterday as we were working on the building. My dad, he's in his late 60s now. He's 68, and he wasn't much of a father in the traditional emotionally available type growing up, right? Very authoritarian. And now as a older gentleman, he's much more available, emotionally available, and wants to teach us the greater parts of life, and also wants to learn from us what we see in the world. And So as we're there, my brother, my dad, and I, he said, this chicken coop is like your journey through life. The roof is your brain. And a couple of years ago, the roof was in bad shape. And whenever you have a bad roof, people will notice it. They'll never notice a good roof, right? But they'll notice a bad roof. They'll notice when there's a hole in the roof or the shingles are torn up. And so it's important you start with your brain, right? And then he said in the foundation. So this building was moved from dirt onto concrete at some point, we could discover. He said, it's important to have a good foundation. And those foundations are really your values and your beliefs, how you were raised in such a way, right? And what you hold on to, right? So if you have a good brain, you're clear-minded, and then you have a good foundation, everything else is extra, right? And everything else can be modified and fixed, right? Once those two things are right, I thought, that's pretty good. And then we ended up having a pretty insightful day. And like with anything remodeling, we had a plan, and then it went to shit. We had a plan, and then, things didn't fit the way they did. Unlike new construction, you get to pick a job site. You get to dig the hole. You get to pour the foundation or the footings, right? You get to pick all these things. And yet as humans, we don't get that. You're born with what you got. And it's a constant remodeling job, right? In construction, often they take new project managers and they put them on remodeling jobs because they're lower value jobs. And they take the senior project manager and they put them on the brand new construction. And that's piss poor, illogical thinking, right? Give the new project managers the new construction, because then you can go by the blueprints. You can go by the plan. The adjustments needed to be made are minimal. And yet when you're doing a remodel job or you're retrofitting a building, you're going to run into things that you didn't anticipate. You're going to run into issues you've never seen before. You're not going to know where to start at certain times because they didn't teach you that in school. And remodeling this chicken coop and remodeling ourselves as human is no different. We don't have the luxury of just saying, let's just blow it up, and start all over. No, we got to work with the building we got. So throughout the day, as we're going through this project and reframing the building, I thought, we wanted to put in windows, right? We wanted to put in windows and a door. And so I'm a beginner of the end state of mind. I'm not a great carpenter. That's why I got laid off from being a carpenter. It wasn't my thing. I said, let's put the window in. Well, before we put the window, we got to frame the window. All right, that makes sense, right? So we can't cut out what's there until we reframe the window. Well, we can't reframe the window until we structurally make around the window frame sound, because we're going to take out those studs. And so I thought, okay, well, if the roof is your brain and your foundation is your values and your beliefs, your framing is your standards, right? That's what holds you up. That's what allows you to think up and beyond. That's what allows you to show the world how great your roof is. That's what allows you to actually enforce the values and beliefs you have. And then I got on this trip last night thinking, okay, if I'm going to remodel myself and my house and my building, what else do I know? Well, your siding, the outside, right? That's what you show the world from a distance, right? I always get upset when I go up to a house that looks like it's brick and you find out it's just poured concrete that's stamped in like bricks, right? It's like, well, yeah, it looks great from a distance, but it's a facade, right? A real stone, real brick, or real stonework looks fantastic. And yet some people will put on concrete and stamp it so it looks like brick. And some people put on siding and they're good with siding because, okay, siding is maybe the cheaper of the materials. And you know what? They're good with that. They're not going to hide what they have. They know exactly who they have. As you build out this house, right, often people see the final result. They don't know the work that gets put in. Yesterday, when we were redoing the barn or the chicken coop, before I even got there, my brother and dad had already picked up the entire structure and redid all the skirt board. It's a 6x6 piece of lumber between the concrete and the structure because it was all rotted out from years of deterioration. And they had the wherewithal to use a tractor to push in the sides. They had the bottle jacks on the inside to raise up the roof, right? And I thought all these different tools and equipment. Well, these are the skills you bring along the way. These are the people and the tools and equipment that raise you up so you have time to work on yourself. They hold you up so you can work on the parts of you. And you might not always know what to do, but you know you need to be raised up. You know you need something to hold you up. Every other Monday, 11 a.m., I go to my counselor. I said from the top about this group of volleyball friends I have. I know I have people that can hold me up while I'm working on myself. I know how much I love watching YouTube videos, listening to short podcasts, reading memes and short articles, and pushing me and raise me up so I can continually work on myself and learn along the way. I don't need to hold up my roof when I'm redoing my framing at the same time. I can use the skills and abilities of others to raise myself up. We have our structure built. The siding's on the outside. People can start seeing what's going on. And I think about what else do we need to do to build this building that's going to welcome people in someday. I thought about the drywall and the installation, right? And this is my mentality. This is my battle cry this year is to be strong enough to be soft. When you start to put insulation in, it creates warmth in the building. The drywall, soften up the rough edges, soften up the rough carpentry. You get to choose what paint you put on. What color do you show the world? What side of you are you willing to share with others? Eventually, you can put in some furniture. Your furniture represents how do you support others? Once you let them into your world, how do you support them? How do you give them a place to be at peace? And finally, your decor. The pillows and trinkets and shit you put on the walls, right? Those are your vulnerabilities. I recently remodeled my house about a year ago, and for a year, I didn't dig in any further than, all right, I got a couch and I got a chair and I got a table and chairs. And that's it. I was good, right? I'm a bachelor. I got a daughter. It's like, all right, we churched up her room, right? My room was whatever. And my guest bedroom turned into a really big closet. I threw my clothes. Over the last couple of weeks, I've started leaning into transforming my house into a home. I started putting up the pictures that meant the most to me. I know that when children grow up with pictures of themselves, it increases their self-esteem because they see themselves in a place of value. I think, why don't I put a picture of myself up? I'm 40 years old and I could use a little self-esteem boost. And I want other people welcomed into my home, into my chicken coop, if you will, and see what it is I have to offer the world. Every week I come on here and I talk about where I'm at with my life. I talk about where I'm going, and I challenge the people around me to be better. I think about the books I've read. I'm currently reading 10X. 10X is easier than 2X, all about philosophies of life. And the opening chapter talks about Michelangelo, the greatest artist of all time, right? And when Michelangelo started turning a piece of marble into the statue of David, they said, how did you do it? And he said, I take away everything that's not David on the statue. So it goes from this piece of marble and he takes away everything that's not David. And now we have David. I think about that logic. I think about my book, and I think about the redneck logic my dad has in building your own space. And I think about what I've allowed myself to do over time. I've allowed myself to have a good roof and a solid foundation and good walls and decor. And eventually, sometimes I've let people come in my space and shit all over me. I've let people throw paint against my walls. I've allowed people to destroy aspects of me where my foundation was crumbling, where there was holes in my roof. And I let them be. And I said, oh, don't worry about that water over there. Oh, don't worry about the mice in the basement. And I sat there in the corner of my room with my one chair and my one pillow left, cowering. And once I started remodeling my life, I realized this is my vessel. This is what I'm in control of. This is my choice. No different than Michelangelo said he took all the things that weren't David away from the marble to create David. I have the opportunity to remodel every day. So if someone shits all over me, I can clean it up. If someone throws paint against my walls, I can paint over it. If my roof is leaking, my foundation is cracking, it's up to me to figure it out. It's up to me to find my dad and my brother and the people that love me and support me in the roast to build up my life, my foundation, my standards, the outside of the world that I show the rest of the world. My siding is this. I've built the foundation. I practice focusing on my roof. And now I get to share outwardly how I feel about the world, my perspective on the world, what makes me amazing, and what may make you amazing. And by doing so, I'm allowing others into my home. I'm allowing people to sit around my bonfire and enjoy what I've built because I'm proud of my little fucking chicken coop. My challenge to you this week is look at your life. Look at your roof. Where's your head at? Where's your brain at? What knowledge do you need to obtain? Look at your foundation, your values, and your beliefs. Do they support the standards that you want to live by? All too often, values and beliefs are, well, this is the way I was raised. This is the way my parents did it. This is what my religion told me. No, these are your values and beliefs. Question them early, question them often. Look for cracks in your foundation. Look at your studs and your standards. Do they support the structure that you want to build? Do they get you where you want to be? When you want to change and adapt and turn a window into a door or a wall into a window, what do you need to do to support that space, to allow more light in, to allow more ideas in? Where do you need to shore it up to ensure that you don't have a hole in your wall, you have a window in your wall? What do you do to maintain your strong yet soft demeanor? How do you create warmth and soft edges around you so that other people are welcome to come in? What color do you paint with? What furniture do you support people with? And what decor and vulnerabilities are you willing to share with the world? And I can tell you, as a man with 37 fucking pillows on his couch now, the more pillows, the better. The more vulnerabilities, the better. Hang that picture you want to hang. Show the world who you are. Stare back at yourself on those pictures you hang of yourself. Say, that's who I am. Be proud of the person you've become. Be proud to share the world with all the things that make you fucking magical. There's 8 billion people in this world. You're not 1 in a million. You're 1 in 8 billion. Build your fucking chicken coop. Get out there this week and always. Do the fucking thing. Build the chicken coop. Tell the world. Let them know where you stand. And finally, and most importantly, show the fuck up. Show up for yourself every day. The rest of the world will follow or they won't. I thank you for joining me this week. And I look forward to seeing you next week.
Well, through all these miles and trials, all I've learned to do is smile. Is to smile.